Last time on Spilling Positivity.
You feel that.
Right.
And the goal is not to harden your heart, because then you internalize it and then repeat
become
it
that.
when you get it right.
Yeah.
This week, time for part 2.
I cannot thrive being surrounded by this.
Right.
So avoid it.
Yes.
You have to
Yes.
actively go in, and when you're in an organization, and choose who you want to surround yourself
Yes.
with.
Absolutely.
Stop with the frenemies. Be polite, but don't hang around and gossip. The moment they start to gossip,
Out the
leave.
door.
Out the door, leave.
Yeah.
And I know it's seductive, but if you really want to respond in a better way and not react, the first thing you have to do is not surround you. You are who you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
Is it seductive though? Because my things is that if I'm busy and I have things going on, and I guess maybe it depends on where you are in your journey,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because I don't get anything out of talking or bad talking people.
You don't get anything out of talking
I
about
don't
talking
feel like
people,
it makes me-
but you get something out of the camaraderie.
Yes,
Right.
I see.
It's
I see
a
that.
negative reinforcement,
Right.
but it's something that it makes you feel like you're connecting. So
Okay.
you're thinking to yourself, I really don't enjoy this. I don't think this is funny.
Yeah.
I don't really like this. But if I move away, I may be isolated. They may
Yeah.
turn on me. And so
Right.
when you're young, you're at that stage where you haven't been seasoned yet.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's
So
like the
that
school
you-
ground. It's
Yeah.
like the school,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like the school
Playground, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So the first thing that you want to do is, once you've started to see it, be polite and then extricate yourself
Right.
from it. Get
Right.
away. You don't have the skill set yet.
Yes,
to
to
stay
navigate,
in it
yeah.
and not be in
I
it.
need-
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Yes.
It's like with church, they say you're in this world, but you're not
Of
of
this
it.
world.
You don't have that skill set. They will suck you down.
Yes.
So remove yourself, limit yourself, as you say. And then as you grow and you start to realize, oh my goodness, I think the same way, but now I'm choosing how I want to respond. You get better. You
Right.
see a little bit of empathy.
Yeah.
You see that they get distracted with all that negativity, because sometimes we feel like when we're gossiping or we're talking bad about some person, we feel like we're doing something.
Yeah.
We are. But
We
we're
really
not.
aren't.
No, really not.
Right? And you waste a lot of time. I spend a lot of time in my coaching saying to women, stop getting distracted.
Yeah.
Stay on the highway.
Right.
All these people inviting you down blind alleys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Avoid.
Yeah.
And you'll be on the way. We're driving to your journey, and then somebody stands at the top of the line and say, "Psst, come over here."
Yeah.
You don't know, well, why is there
Yeah.
something down there for me? No, you get distracted and
Yes,
then you
yes,
absolutely.
angry, frustrated, upset,
Yes.
and then venting to people. When
Yeah.
you came off the highway down that alley, come back.
Yeah,
You know?
it's true. It's
Yeah.
true. I found that even in my younger days as a young professional, like the camaraderie came in like finding support to deal with the not so positive, the toxic work culture in
Yeah.
some places. So you kind of created these support groups, but then you found yourself not looking at the solution, but saying,
Harping
on the problem,
Yes.
on the problem. Now, as a leader, seasoned leader, what I find myself doing is saying, okay, let's look at how we can move past this.
Yes.
Let's
find a solution.
Let's look at it for a solution. Let's look for a way that we can improve it. No, that was a journey from then to now.
Yes.
And I really believe that we as seasoned leaders, with female leaders, need to empower our young professionals, male or female, on how to start finding that journey through the solution.
Through the solution.
And not just harping on, this is that and this place is
Yeah,
that.
because you know there are going to be people who are just going, as I always say, people are going to people all the time. So you're going to have people who are going to be negative no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter how many training sessions they have,
Yeah.
no matter what, they are going to bring that level of toxicity, whether it's the workplace, church, whatever environment they go into.
Yeah.
They're just going to be negative. They're going to look at you. They're not going to like you.
Yeah.
And you're just going to have to figure out, but don't stay on that.
No,
I think that's
absolutely.
where the empathy that I'm working on
Yeah.
comes from.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you look at them and you say, okay, what they're giving out is really not about me.
Yeah. You really have to say that, you know.
It has nothing
You
to do
have
with
to
my
do me-
perspective on life,
no.
my
It doesn't.
ability, nothing. And why is what they're saying about me or how they're treating me, why am I allowing it to impact me when they have so little to do with my progress and who I am developing
Yeah.
as a person in
And when I'm
life?
coaching that, I'm like, okay, because when I'm coaching, I always say to women, all right, my number one concern and interest is you.
Yes, yeah.
So draw me a line as to how this is related to you.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
They
Yes.
can.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that I feel like as women, because we are raised to be nurturing as well, I feel like we're trying to change people.
Yeah.
And it's
Yes,
so
Sonia.
difficult
Yeah.
trying
Yeah.
to change yourself.
Self.
Yeah.
I've understand what you want to take on. Oh, but you know, she's good or he's good otherwise.
No.
But that's the same thing about control. That is so out of your control to change another human being.
But you can be as Sonia said, working on yourself and changing yourself
I'm telling you,
it's a journey.
And sometimes you regress to go forward, and you're like, you go back and you're like, how am I doing this again? And you have to work through that.
Yes.
So it really is a situation of that. But within the workplace, though, and especially in terms of culture, because the culture could be embedded in a workplace. So how do you go about trying to help that culture to become and shift it to become a positive culture?
Yeah. That's the responsibility of the leader. Right? That if unless you're the leader of the team, you can add and make it better. And there are always tools. I always say to people when you're in a meeting and it's going off the rails or it's going down into negativity, you can always say, okay, so how can, as you just said, how can we make this better? Because we tend to we like to vent and then we tend to self-soothe, which is make ourselves feel better, but don't make the situation better.
Absolutely,
And so it's how can we make this better? How can we move forward? What are our intentions here? Which is why we like to say be explicit with your intentions. When there's an issue, what are our intentions? What are we trying to accomplish? Because it provides a criteria as to whether you're going to go down an alley or stay on the highway to the solution. Does this help us get to our solution? And so those are the areas that you want. So if you are not the leader, then your job is to figure out, okay, how do I make it better? And that is why I say to people, and if you can, and if the leader isn't making it better, they're tolerating the worst types of behavior, then I say, you know, I like to say to people, always stay ready. And always stay ready means always keep your resume updated. Because you need to look for good leaders as opposed to jobs. People just go out there.
That's a
very good point.
Look for jobs. Look for good leaders.
Yes.
Because good leaders, it will pour into you. You know, just that you say look for a try, because when you're around people who are trying to move ahead, who are trying to really better themselves, who are trying to grow and develop, they don't have time for gossip.
No, they don't. They really don't.
And so, but you're very hanging around with them.
Yeah, exactly.
You will start to have conversations that will help, that will enrich. They will understand what you're going through.
And
so
they're creating
supportive.
a supportive and just nurturing work environment, an environment where you want to come to.
Exactly.
Right? Where they're not sitting down listening to the latest thing and then kind of fanning the flames.
Yeah, no,
you know?
No.
If any of you says to me, Sonia, you know, I'm thinking of starting my own business. As some person who started her own business, the first thing I would say to you is, great. Let me tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody who's never started their business, who may be thinking about it for the last few years but never had the opportunity, will just spread all their fears that they've had. You see the difference.
Yes.
So when you hang around people who are going after what you want, they know how difficult the journey is. They know how difficult it is to stay on the highway and not get distracted. So what they will be talking to you is how. How to. When you're dealing with people who are not doing it, all they're going to spread is the fear, the doubts.
It can't work.
Yes, right? And so that's how you do it. So number one, start by removing yourself from it until you build the skill set to understand that it's, you know, this is how we're raised. And we can be empathetic, but not tolerant of it. Number two, choose who you want to work with. Too much of our lives are just lived, passively. Actively go there and look for people, look for the networks. And people always ask, how? Open your eyes and start looking intentionally. Right? This is why I always say to people, you have to go through life actively looking. So when you see some person who's looking glamorous and you think that you're not so glamorous, when you see them, you're going to stop and pause and say, well, how can I be? You know, one day I was sitting in the coffee shop doing some work, and a woman walks up to me and she says, hi. And I say, hi. And she says, you look like somebody I would love to be friends with.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh, really? She said, yes, can we be friends? And I looked at her and I went, yeah, I like how you look too. And I was just blown away because I was thinking, that's how I rebuilt networks. That's how I created a life, a career for myself.
That takes a level of security, and self awareness. Right.
It takes a level of when I have the negative thoughts, actively choosing to pour into myself.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Talk differently.
Yeah.
Like, what if this doesn't work? Which is why I say to women, have your affirmations, watch
Yeah.
your mentors on TV, and talk to yourself. But if you can't do it yet, have other people do it for you.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
listen to those. You know, like you put motivational
Yes.
thoughts. Do that,
Yeah.
and then you get to learn how to do yourself. So you're nervous, you're anxious, you're scared to walk up. What if they tell me no?
Yeah.
Right.
But do
What
you
if they
think-
tell you yes?
But more importantly, as I learned by my networks, but of course they're gonna tell you no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it's
have
true.
to get like 10 no's
Yes,
before you get
one.
one.
Yes, yeah.
But all you need, let me tell you,
Is one yes.
And one is one, yes.
But it is learning how to deal with the
No.
no's.
Somehow I had to learn that, to disassociate my self-worth.
Yes,
From
from the
the-
nose.
From the nose, yes,
Absolutely,
yes,
because you
yes.
can get lost. But the question I had to ask, and I always ask this, think about this all the time, do you think the childhood traumas people bring as their luggage through their life, they bring it to the workplace? And how can you navigate that in a place where you may not know what that person's gone through 20 years ago, but you know, you can see it's festering
Right.
in their behavior.
Right.
I love that because that's insightful, right? And that comes from experience that I understand, because the first thing people think is, well, it's me. I did something,
Yeah,
or she's
yeah.
just
Right,
being me.
right.
You don't realize that person may be having a hard day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not. So how do you do that? By first recognizing that it's not all about you.
Yes.
You are a wonderful, beautiful individual, but the world doesn't
The revolve around you, absolutely. Yeah,
And the way
yeah.
people react has nothing to do with you.
Right? So
But they may make it about you.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
the thing you have
That's
to
the thing
realize.
that you have
They
to-
may make it
You are the
about you.
trigger.
Yeah, you're the
but
trigger.
it is not about
Yeah,
you.
you be sitting minding your own business, looking happy. And it triggers that person.
So-
But every day is what way she's be looking happy.
Yeah,
But she gotta
yeah.
be happy
Oh,
about
exactly.
it.
Yes, I used to hear that a lot. She always
Hello.
smiling though.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
she's so happy all the time. I know,
Yeah.
but I'm like,
Yeah.
really?
You know, one time I was having I worked and we traveled a lot. And you know, when you're young, you think travel is
Glamorous.
travel is glamorous.
It's
And
not. So not.
You were like, this thing ain't glamorous.
It's so tiring.
And so I had an assistant that I said, okay, well, she loves traveling. She thought it was glamorous. Let her travel. And I had a colleague who was like, why are you always letting her travel? And I'm like, well, what's the big deal? Look how satisfied she looks about herself, like she's doing something.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
like, if she feels accomplished and happy and that she is doing
something.
and
Encourage it.
accomplishing something, what does that have to do with me? Why
Yeah.
must I take it away?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It's serving me because
Yeah.
she thinks it's great,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it really shows that. So the first thing is to recognize that most things doesn't have to do with you. Number two, know what you need to make you happy,
Yeah.
and don't be distracted by other people who are
Yeah.
The
coming.
noise.
Yeah.
Yes,
the
the
noise.
noise. And and you have to be conscious because again, 95% of our lives is lived in the unconscious.
Yeah.
In the systems at the childhood, there are people out there at work still hearing what their mother told them.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
you're not.
Yes.
You know, that's their
Yeah.
mothers or
Yeah, yeah.
their first bosses. Voicing their head.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so you have to be conscious and aware of who am I listening to right now.
Right.
Who, when someone, you walk in and say good morning and they don't even look back at you and you feel like one morning I went to the gym at 6 a.m. I went to a training session. I am not like you, Maria, who's get up so early and be so, I literally be lying in my bed looking at Maria exercising going, why is she looking so different? All right, I'm gonna have to cover her.
I know. She-
as mine.
She messages me telling me that many mornings.
Inspiration.
I walked into the gym and I said good morning to the people at the front desk and nobody responded. And 5 minutes later in my training session, I was still complaining about that. Oh, we get up so early this morning.
Not so.
Okay, and they couldn't even bother to say good morning. Now they say if you're still feeling an emotion 5 seconds after it, you've chosen to hold on to it.
Is
Yeah,
it 5
yeah.
seconds? I thought it was like 5 minutes or maybe 5
You
hours.
want a little bit more time.
Like 5 to 8 seconds after. And then at that point, self-talk is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
I had to say
Okay.
to myself, I'm not lifting my weight because my trainer is accustomed to me complaining. Why am I holding on to this?
Yeah, yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
And then I thought, because my self-worth seemed to have been caught up in that.
That-
movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People who you don't know,
Yeah.
I don't know you.
Who don't know you.
Like,
and who will probably like drag themselves
Yeah,
to that
exactly,
morning
and
to not want
tired
to be
too,
there.
exactly.
You know where I can trace it right back to? Like when I was growing up, my parents always used to say, you cannot pass someone on the street.
And that's to say good morning. Yep.
And here were some people counteracting that.
Exactly.
And I felt like they were disrespecting
you.
Yeah.
when it had nothing to do with me.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
yeah.
it was only when I did that analysis of asking myself, why am I holding on to it, that I can then trace it back and then I could just let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, they're probably like me.
Yeah.
They probably had their coffee.
Exactly.
It's not important. And then I remember my mother used to say, it doesn't matter if they say it back to you. Because I would say, well, Mrs. Grace didn't say good morning back to me yesterday.
Yeah.
And she would say, that has nothing to do with you.
You do what you're supposed to
And I
do.
was like, okay, let me just get back on. And that's the self-talk that you have to do with yourself constantly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Become aware, present,
Yes.
and not be reacting based on what have been done to you in the past.
Okay.
And so you have to ask yourself why, and that's why it's important to have that emotional intelligence to be self-aware, because then you can manage yourself and then you can respond.
Yeah.
And the moment that I said that, I realized, oh my God, I am tying my self-worth to people that I don't know. If you ask me what they look like, no, I could not tell you.
Because you really,
Yes.
yeah, it was the act.
It was the act.
Like, oh my God. And my
It was
poor
the
trainer,
act.
he has to learn these. He has to as I'm talking this through with him, and he's going like, good. Now you can concentrate on
On
what
my
you
list.
did.
What I have you here doing?
Yeah, the purpose that you're there.
And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm an alley there.
Yeah.
I'm back on the highway.
Yeah.
And that's how you work through it in terms of your...
Yeah. But you have to be real self-aware to do that. And,
Yes.
I'm trying to be positive here. And my optimism is really going to kick in. I'm hoping that people get to that place to recognize that self-talk is so important in the process of your own personal healing and your growth.
Yes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I really hope that people get that.
But
Yeah.
you have to have a purpose.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Without a vision of where do I want to go.
Oh my gosh.
You know, they say,
You're just
you don't know
going
where
along.
any road will take you.
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
anybody could distract you.
Yeah.
You had it all in life, and then you know, 5 years later, you're like, I started out with such promise.
Yes. Yep.
How am I still here?
Yeah.
What happened to me?
And so, and that negativity, people become addicted to it because
Yeah.
it temporarily makes you feel
Oh,
better
yes.
pulling down. But you don't
Yeah.
grow if you have to tear people down
No.
in order to feel better about yourself, in order to go
Can you
ahead.
say that again?
You
You don't grow.
You do not advance if you feel you have to tear people down to get it. It's not a solid foundation. You're building your house on sand.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And it's easily knocked down.
Yes.
This is why you have leaders or women and men who are high up in organizations and they lack and their self-esteem is so fragile. They need yes people around them.
Yeah.
They need
Nobody can challenge them
Yeah.
because then they're like, who are you? I
Yeah.
am here. This is my position. You have to listen to me.
and that's a foundation of imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Yes.
That's how it
Yes,
manifests.
yes.
So they're constantly living on the fear that it will be revealed
Yes.
that they're not good enough,
Right.
that they don't know enough.
So there's no
that
collaborative
Collaborative
spirit.
spirit, no,
There's
yeah.
no, okay, so if you tell me to do something, I say, well, okay, I see what can you explain to me why you said
Or
that?
do you think this way is a
Or
better
do you,
way?
or whatever,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they say to you, well, go ahead and do. It's either the passive aggressive, go ahead and do it the way you
Yeah.
want to
Or
do it, or
dictatorship.
the one that says, I tell you to do it so, and that is why it is so. And in today's 2022, you can't live life that way. Young
You
people
can't
are
live
not
like that
taking
way.
that sort of
That
approach as
old-fashioned
well.
way, it's why so many people just want the job of a leader for
They
the
don't know.
status and the high, because it says I'm good,
looks good.
but they don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
And so the first thing you have to do as a person when you're in an organization is to look at your leader and determine, are they a good leader or are they a so-so leader? You want a good leader because you could be in the most toxic organizational environment, culture. The entire culture of this organization is toxic. But I put you in a department with a good leader and they block all that. They keep it at the door. That's subculture that you have.
Yes.
Yeah.
They protect you, they sponsor you, they so you
Advocate for you, yeah.
They look for a good leader. And then if you are a leader, put in the work.
Yeah.
Yes,
yourself.
absolutely.
Self-development, because
Yes.
there are some people who feel that they don't have to grow. They know
No.
it all. They've reached here.
No.
This is it. But there is you stop growing, you start learning, you're dead.
That's self-identification. I always say this when I'm doing DEI work and I'm moving around. If the person who says I'm not racist, self-identify.
And DI is diversity and inclusion.
Oh,
people.
sorry, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah.
Self-identifier right there, because that's not the response if somebody else accused you of it.
Yeah.
You the first thing you want to know is what have I done to lead you to that
Yes,
conclusion.
exactly.
Examine that. That fear is kicking. And it's the same thing with leaders, who are they want it to do it my way.
Yeah.
Because they haven't recognized. So for example, when I get frustrated, when I am angry, or when I am irritated, I get rigid and I shut down.
Right.
And in those situations, when I have a deadline, I'm not interested in what you have to tell me. I just want to get it done. I know the best way to get it done.
Yeah.
Just do what I tell you, and everything
and
is
it'll be
good.
all good. Yeah.
So
Yep.
I have to know that, so that when I start to feel intolerant, impatient, I am realizing I am not going to help this situation.
Right.
So let me act opposite to how I feel. Because that is what's going to be needed here.
Yeah.
I am feeling pressured and stressed to deliver. And because I feel pressured and stressed, I just want everyone to do it my way. And once I start to feel those feelings, I start to say, all right, Sonia, are you going to help the situation, or are you just going to be a problem? And so I become more open. I act opposite. I get more patient. I get, this idea, tell me more about it. I want to hear more, because I'm thinking, we don't have time for this. I'm like, no.
Right.
That is not dominating here.
Right.
Let me hear and act opposite to it. And that's the way you grow, and that's the way you develop, which is why you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah. I love that. Comfortable being uncomfortable.
Okay, so we have got to wrap up. But Sonia, it's been so great having you here, and there are so many nuggets you dropped. So can we recalibrate and talk about some of those things? Get uncomfortable,
With being uncomfortable.
Being uncomfortable.
Lean into the discomfort.
Lean into it, and
choose leaders, not organizations.
Yes, when you're looking for a job, how people react to you has nothing to do with you. It has a lot to do with their own, what they're dealing with, what's going on with them.
How you respond to people. So you want to respond to people and not react. And so choose how you respond to make the situation better. And then I love to say, if you are in a negative environment, don't hang around with negative people.
Right.
And
lean into change.
Lean into change.
Because there's big things that happen. Living example. When you lean into change.
Stop trying to control it. And I think one of the last things I would say to people, there is beauty in the pivot.
Yes.
In transition.
Agility is life.
Yes.
Agility is life.
It is life.
It's everything.
Yeah,
Create your opportunities. If you're uncertain, if you're fearful, harness that and look for opportunities. That's the best way to respond.
Absolutely.
Amen. Sonia, thank you once again. We're so happy to have you here. Especially she's been here for a little while in Barbados and soon leaving us soon again. So we're really happy. And next time you're back in Barbados, please join us.
So thank you for joining us for another episode of Spilling the Positivity.
Yes.
Sponsored by our lovely sponsor, Tetley.
Yes.
And we're having some Tetley all of this entire time. And stay tuned for our next episode. And in the meantime, stay safe and stay healthy.
And
Take
positive.
care. Of course.